I'm here with Dr. Chris Firestone, an expert on the Enlightenment. What is the Enlightenment and why does it matter?
The Enlightenment is a period in time that was really formative in the Western intellectual tradition. About 200 to 300 years ago, it came about at the end of modernity, where the philosopher Immanuel Kant said, have the courage to use your own reason. Don't simply accept what's told to you, but own it. Learn to think for yourself. And so in this famous essay, What is Enlightenment?, he actually gives an answer to that question. It's the courage to think for yourself, to own your own religious thought even, which was one of the major topics that he was concerned about, because there was religious oppression at the time, and he said, look, have the courage to think for yourself. He wasn't against religious truth, but he was for people becoming their own sort of self-aware, actualized thinkers.
And why does that matter for the everyday person today?
Oh, there's a lot of herd mentality going around, a lot of groupthink going around these days. And I think the Enlightenment, the Western intellectual tradition, is all about open rational discourse, about having the courage to say what you think, to make an argument. One of my favorite theologians, Kevin Van Hooser, once said that staking a claim is an act of humility. And the ability to speak freely and to give evidence and to give reasons. I know that that's one of the things Josh McDowell is really big on, as evidence. Yeah. And saying what you believe, giving reasons for it, is an act of humility, because that opens you to reproof and correction. And when you're open to reproof and correction, you become a learner. But you also have a genuine dialogue between people, just like you're asking me right now questions.
Yeah, that's great. Has there been any pushback to the Enlightenment? And what are some of the beneficial pushbacks that we've seen over the past couple of years?
Yeah, well, in the history of the flow of ideas, the individualism of the Enlightenment gave way to a whole system of 19th century philosophy that once again brought groupthink back into vogue. But I think the Enlightenment was the basis of things like our own U.S. Constitution. And in the Declaration of Independence, of course, and those are really important sort of positive outcomes of Enlightenment history.
Yeah.
And systems that have since come up in the 19th century have caused all sorts of reverberations. In a sense, putting some of those constitutional principles and ideals under stress. And yet the Enlightenment is all for social contract theory. It's all for constitutional law. It's all for democratic republic. And so that's why the Enlightenment's really important, and why there's a lot at stake.
So many of the things that we benefit from in the Western world are a result of the Enlightenment through history.
Absolutely. And that's this great experiment that we call the United States of America came right out of that period.
Yeah.
So
awesome. Thank you.